Welcome to Foundation Focus and happy holidays to everyone. I'm Tom Jones, the president of the St. Lucie County Education Foundation. In a previous segment, we had met with Carrie Patrick and we talked about the grant program, and we went through the list of the individuals that were receiving the grants. And in this program, we will be meeting some of the grant writers and the grant recipients. And I just wanted to mention that the Teacher Grant Program is the Foundation's largest program each year. This year we allocated $64,000 to the grant program, which is an increase of 28%. And the program works in conjunction with the state matching grant program. Each year the state of Florida allocates by county a sum of funds where foundations can raise money through the private sector and then match those funds dollar for dollar up to a limit. This year our limit was $60,000. We were able as a foundation to raise $32,000, and the state matched our grant, so we are providing a total fund of $64,000. Obviously we left some money on the table, and that's where all of you come in, our listening audience. We would like to raise more money each year and be able to take advantage of the full match. So if we're able to raise $60,000, the state of Florida will step up and match that for a total contribution of $120,000. So please visit our website, efslc.org, and make a pledge during this holiday season. And now I'd like to welcome our special guest today, Paul Reef from the Office of Teaching and Learning. Paul, welcome.
Thank you.
And Kate Ems, the K through 12 Social Studies Curriculum TSA.
Yes.
And I'm going to start with Kate because I've got to ask you, what does TSA stand for?
TSA is a teacher on special assignment.
Oh, okay.
So I've been in our district for 8 years now, and I work in our curriculum department supporting K through 12th grade social studies. So I work with all teachers in elementary school and our secondary social studies teachers, making sure that the curriculum is understood across the district, that they have resources that they need, provide professional learning opportunities. I also work with our lead teachers at each school site so that they can continue to build capacity at their sites.
Okay.
So I work across the board when it comes to social studies.
Okay, and in your spare time, you wrote a grant.
Yes.
With the Ed Foundation. And can you tell the audience what the topic was?
This year I wrote a grant for our Florida History Fair. At our school district, we have our students in 6th, 8th, 10th, and 11th grade do history fair projects. And this year's theme is taking a stand in history. So students were able to pick a topic based on that theme that they felt closely connected to and present it in a way that they felt was best. They can do an exhibit board, they can create a documentary or a website if they're very tech savvy, they can do a performance if they like to act, or if they're good writers, they could do a research paper. From there at their school site, they will compete against the other students, and then their teachers will select some students to go and attend the district level fair, which will be on January 12th.
Okay.
And then from there, we have our students compete against the other schools within our district, showcasing their work, and then the students who have placed first and second have the opportunity to go to the state competition. It's an expensive trip to go up to Tallahassee to take 50-plus students, so we've written the grant this year to give those students an opportunity to travel up to Tallahassee April 30th through May 2nd so that they can not only see other types of projects out there, but showcase their work, to be proud of their accomplishments, to see other parts of the state. Some of the students that we've traveled with in years past have not been out of our general area, and to see all of Florida is a pretty amazing experience for them. So
That's terrific. Now, are all of the projects completed, the student projects?
the student projects, they're finishing them up right now so that their schools can select their students that are advancing to our district fair.
And the fair again is held in January?
It's January 12th, and we're going to have it at IRSC.
Okay, is it open to the public?
We do invite the public to come as judges, If we have anybody in our viewing area that would like to serve as a judge or support in a manner like that, they can send me an email, kathleen.ems@stlucieschools.org, and I will gladly work with them to try to find a way that we can best have them help us.
Terrific. So it was held at the IRSC at the Kite Center, is that correct?
Correct.
That's terrific. Can you tell me the number of students that are part of the program?
Each year we have students in our secondary school in every social studies course. They should be doing a history fair project, so we're looking at quite a few students across the district at the first level. At our district fair, we have about 350 average students participate, and at the state level, we have anywhere between 50 to 100 students who can participate.
Now, what's the history of the school district in terms of the state level? Do we normally do very well at the state level?
We have done well in the fact that we have gone to runoffs up in the state level competition. But this year we have the opportunity to have a practice night for our students so that we can bring in community members. We're looking to partner with the college to get some of their professors in, to work with our students very closely, to have them go through a practice round and get good feedback from those with the wealth of knowledge in that social studies community.
That's very exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the typical types of topics in history that a student might be interested in?
Each year there's a different theme, so they really can do whatever they feel as long as it connects to that theme. So this year it's taking a stand in history, and I could see a lot of students looking at the civil rights movement, looking at different periods of time in history where things weren't the way they wanted it to be, and they decided to take a stand and make a change. Topics that are connected to our local history do really well.
Okay, so it's locally oriented in many cases?
It can be local, it can be global, whatever the student feels most connected to. That's what we want. We want them to feel connected to their topic.
Would it even cover like ancient history?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it goes ancient history to current as well as local?
The only thing that we ever say is that try to make it a generation old so that we can see the impact of the topic.
What are some of the benefits that a history fair would have in terms of the overall goals for the school district in terms of increasing graduation rates?
It is a great way for students, first off, to learn how to research, using different types of sources to find information, citing their resources in their project. It helps them with their reading and writing skills, their speaking and listening skills. A lot of our students, whether they're going the college path or straight to the career path, they need to know how to speak in front of other people with authority and to be proud of their work. So it really gives them a very well-rounded experience for them to just take on many different skills that they're going to take on after they leave us.
That's terrific. Well, this is a great grant. We form a committee each year. The committee sits down, and the foundation focuses on what we call STEAM, all right, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and so we're always trying to balance that. We're always trying to focus on literacy also and CTE and all. But personally, my heart is always with history because I'm a buff. I love to watch the History Channel, and I've actually visited all of the Civil War battlefields in the United States. So it's just a little hobby. But so thank you very much for writing the grant. It's our privilege to authorize the grant. I don't know if you know, the checks went out last week, so they're now sitting with the various schools in the district office, and we're hoping that the funds will be put into the system very shortly. So thank you, Katie. I really appreciate you coming today.
Thank you.
And now Paul Reef. Paul is he's the head of the Office of Teaching and Learning. Is that right?
No, I'm like Kate. I'm a teacher on special assignment with science curriculum background.
Okay, STEM, science, technology,
art, engineering, and mathematics.
Okay.
And I'm also the district science fair director. And on behalf of the students of St. Lucie County, and I want to thank you for what you do in funding both the science fair, Project Citizen, and the history fair, which allows us to send our students St. Lucie County-wide. And when I say St. Lucie County-wide, I'm talking about the public schools, the private schools, the charter schools, and the homeschool students have an opportunity to compete in both fairs.
That's terrific. Well, thank
Yes.
you. It's a focus for the foundation on STEM and STEAM, and every year we sit down with the school district and we look at their major strategies, and then that guides us in the allocation of funding for the grants. So, tell us about the science fair.
Well, Science Fair starts as a school-based activity. We have a K through 5 elementary school showcase where students have the opportunity in the spring of the year to showcase, not judge, but to showcase their projects to the public. And we hold it at different educational venues such as the Oxbow Center, the Manatee Observation Center, the Smithsonian Museum Center, and Savannah State Park. And then we have the middle and high school fairs that are held at the Kite Center on February 10th, where 400 students participate. And then we have the state fair, where 14 students are selected from the winners at the regional fair to attend the state competition at the end of March in Lakeland, Florida. And then we have also the opportunity to send 2 students to the international fair during mid-May in Los Angeles this year.
Now,
So it's a great learning opportunity.
Can you tell us how our students have normally fared for
Well,
these various
for
competitions?
the last couple of years, 2 years ago, all 14 students walked across the stage and won an award. Last year, 13 students won an award. 2 years ago, one of our students placed first in their category. And then there's also part of the Intel ISEF organization, a junior category called Broadmasters, where students fill out an application and they go through a very, very rigorous vetting process. Where 2 years ago, one of our students won and had the opportunity to go to the White House and meet the President of the United States.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
That's
it's a
absolutely
very
amazing.
unique opportunity. And 2 years ago, also, one of our students placed first in state. The state sent him to the international fair. He went to Stanford, and in his first year, joined the debating club and spent his freshman year in college traveling around the world in the debate club.
And all of this it really came out of probably the science fair.
Well,
a part of it, sir.
I say that his mother came 2 years ago and one day showed up in the office and gave me a check or money order for $200 in her son's name because she felt that the science fair gave him the background to get to where he is today.
Can you tell me how many students are part of the science fair? It's
Well,
quite a
again,
large
it
number,
starts
isn't
at a school-based, but at the regional fair, we have 300 middle school students and 75 high school students participating.
Okay, and the funding that is provided by the foundation goes towards what
Goes
part of
to the regional fair,
that? All right.
the state fair, and the international fair.
Okay, so it has
There are
an
3
impact on
components.
hundreds of students.
Yes.
That's terrific. Well, we're very proud to offer the grant, and I know the students are working on science projects right now, correct?
Well, yes, they are. The schools are having their fairs as we speak.
That's
Matter of
terrific.
fact, I'm going tomorrow afternoon to judge one of the fairs at
Good.
one of the schools.
Well, thank you
Tom,
very
if it
much.
wasn't for you, we couldn't have this. So
Well-
we thank you.
Well, thank you, Paul. You know, the private sector this year has been very generous, and I wanted to mention to Paul and Kate that 2 benefactors have stepped forward after the matching grant program had ended, and the first is AT&T with the drone program, and that money will be in hand shortly. And then we also have a special grant from PNC Bank locally here in St. Lucie County, and it's really so we're going to put that money to work very shortly. So I want to thank both of you for coming. We'll take a short break, and then we'll meet our next guest. Thank you.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Welcome back. One of the focuses for the Foundation's grant program is to focus on literacy. And we all know that age 3 to grade 3 is a very critical time, and that if a student doesn't read at the proficient level by the 3rd grade, they have about a 70% chance of failure in school. So it's a big focus for the school district. It's a big focus for the Education Foundation. And today I'm pleased to welcome Elise Brannon from the C.A. Moore School, who is a literacy coach. Welcome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming here. You wrote a grant, and I'd like you to tell the audience about the grant.
Okay. The grant is called Standards-Based Listening Centers to promote engaged rotation. So it will service our students in grades kindergarten through 1st grade. It's 10 classrooms, over 200 students. So we will incorporate the listening center into each classroom. And as the students rotate through their literacy routine, the listening station will be one of the places that they'll be able to go.
Okay, so now you're new at the district, is that correct?
I am,
Okay,
yes.
so you're new, and this program is new, is that right also, or the grant?
This grant is brand new. Listening stations have been around for a long time. The twist is that this is standards-based, so we'll connect books that support the standards, the Florida state standards, with the listening center.
Okay, well, let's back up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your journey to St. Lucie County.
I am originally from Chicago, and we came down here. My husband's family's from here, and so St. Lucie County seemed like a good fit, and this is my 2nd year in the county. I have been teaching for 25 years, and 17 of those years I've been a literacy coach, amongst other things. So C.A. Moore is a wonderful place to be, and many of our students are already coming with some of the prerequisites that our kindergartners need, and so the listening centers will help support some of that.
Well, you've come to the school district at a very critical time because your skills are certainly needed. Mr. Jen is really focusing on the age 3, the grade 3. There's a whole program called SOAR, which is working with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program that help the mentoring and the reading. And your skills are very needed, so it's really terrific. Just tell the audience about learning centers or listening centers?
Listening centers.
Listening centers. Just tell us what that is.
So a listening center is basically what you might think of as a tape recorder with the headphones, and students gather, maybe 4 students at the most would gather, 4 to 5 students, and they would listen to a book. But the listening stations that we'll be using will be Bluetooth enabled, CD or tape. So the school already has many books on CD and on cassette. And so we'll be matching that with the standards covered in kindergarten and 1st grade. And so if a teacher is looking for how does the illustrator and the author work together to create a story, students will listen to the same story over and over and over again. Maybe during the week they might hear it 2-3 times, and then they'll be able to better understand how was it that the author and the illustrator worked together to make the book come alive, and they pick up wonderful vocabulary through hearing it over and over again.
What is the grade level of the students?
They're kindergarten and 1st grade.
Okay, so these are students that are just beginning to learn to read. Is
That's
that correct?
right, exactly.
Okay,
yes.
and so part of the learning process is for them to put on headphones, they'll hear a story, and they have visual aids.
They have the matching book.
Matching book. So they're
sometimes
going
the
through the
author
book?
is actually reading the text to them.
I see.
There's sound effects, so the words can come to life for them. They're very engaged and interesting. It's very motivating for them to not have to sit with 20 other peers and listen to the teacher read the story. And it's not being watched on an app like maybe Epic. Right. It's actually a book, a picture book that they can actually open up, and it's read to them, and it's read fluently, and they'll hear it more than one time. And they'll also be expected to respond to the text in some way.
So it's a combination of technology and the book.
That's right.
I love that.
That's
You
right.
still have the
Yes.
book. The book still exists.
That's right.
The old-fashioned book. That's
And then
great.
most of these books they can find in their library, so they can check them out again.
Okay. And the student can really work at their own pace then, right? So they can do it several times or until they become, what is the goal? So they could be able to read the content of the book?
The goal is
that the
for them
goal?
to be able to talk about the book, retell the book, maybe find some key details, go over beginning, middle, and end. Again, how does the author and the illustrator work together to make the pages make sense? They will, they hear, it's just like the old-fashioned listening center. They hear the chime and they turn the page.
Okay.
And actually the latest and greatest versions, they hear it with the chime, and then the next time they hear it without the chime. So oftentimes they're listening to it twice in one station rotation. So the second time they really have to pay attention to the flow of the story to know when to turn the pages.
So at CA Moore, how many stations are there? Are there multiple stations throughout the school?
So this is all during the 90-minute ELA literacy block.
And what is that ELA?
The English,
early?
it's really the reading block.
Oh, the reading block.
Yes.
Okay, it's the reading block.
Yes,
Okay.
it's the English language arts block.
Oh,
so
okay, all right.
what we used to call the reading block. The teachers have stations that they've set up, and one of the stations might be reading with the teacher, and then while those kids are reading with the teacher, there are other kids doing other things, and they need to be things they can do autonomously. So it might be, in kindergarten we don't have the kitchen or the block station and all those things anymore. So
right.
in order to keep it standards-based, they might have word work, another listening, another like alphabet station in kindergarten and first grade. They might be reading to themselves, books that they've read with the teacher. And this would be another engaging station that would support the standard. So they would go to the station, one student would actually work the machine to, press the button. Everybody would put on their headphones. Everyone would have a text in front of them that matched the recording, and they would listen to the story once or sometimes twice.
Does every student have an opportunity to use the learning stations?
They may have an opportunity to do it once a day or twice a day, depending on how many other stations there are in the room.
So how many students will this grant help?
It will be over 200 students it will
200.
support.
And how many students are at CA Moore? I'm just curious.
Oh, that's a good question. I think there are about 600 students.
Is that right?
No,
Okay.
I don't know if that's right.
But so about 300 you said?
The
Is it
200 students
200 students will be
between kindergarten and first grade.
okay.
Yes.
All right. And so the money will be used for what purpose?
So there's 10 stations. There's 10 classrooms. Each classroom will get a station, and that is exactly what the amount of the grant covers. So the station comes with the machine and a little island where all the headphones plug into.
Okay.
It's designed for a group of students to sit around a table like this and listen. Sometimes they sit on the floor and listen.
Okay.
The software, the books and the books on tape, that will come from things that the school already has, supplies the school already has. And then the Bluetooth technology will come from the teacher's telephone, from their phone.
Okay. Now you're actually working with the students every day as a coach?
Every day, yes.
Okay.
Teachers and students.
And what are the number of students in a grouping? Is it like 2 or 3 or
Could
many
be
more?
2 or 3, but normally it's about 4 to 5.
Okay, so this is
in
actually
every
in a
station.
classroom though, right? So you have a
Yes.
teacher that's doing instruction, and then there's a station where some students are coming in?
Right. If a teacher has maybe 20 students,
Okay.
5 are with her, another 5 are at a station, and another 5 are at a station. So that they rotate like that.
I see. Okay, it's a lot different when I was in the first grade, I think, if I can remember back that far.
Right.
I was just reading a book, See Johnny Run or something like that, or See Spot Run.
And that repetition of like when we did Dick and Jane,
Right,
that
right.
repetition, that's what the listening station does. But it ups the ante a little bit because they have richer vocabulary, and it would normally be the book that the teacher might read aloud to them.
Okay,
So they're
I
having
see.
this opportunity to work with the text independently.
I see. That's terrific. That's great. All right. Well, we're really glad that we could fund part of the program.
I'm so glad you did.
Thank you. And next year, don't be bashful. Come back, ask for more money.
We
okay?
will. We
Because
will.
as I said to the audience, that every year we're trying to grow the teacher grant program. It is our largest program every year. But as I said earlier on the show, the state of Florida has always, for the last many years, has provided a matching grant opportunity. So as I'm talking to the audience, I'm going to repeat myself, but ask you to think about during this holiday season about giving to the Education Foundation, just going online to efslc.org, or just give me a call, Tom Jones, at 772-429-5007, and I would love to chat about funding the teacher grant program. What happens every year is that the state of Florida, and they allocate it by county, offers the opportunity for the foundations, it's for foundations only, to raise private sector money, and then the state will match that based on a formula. And for St. Lucie County, for the last several years, it's been $60,000. So if the Education Foundation raises $60,000, they will match that dollar for dollar. Now, we can raise as much money as we can, but the first $60,000 is matched. We rarely reach that level, though. This year, we really struggled hard. We raised $32,000. We received a match of $32,000. So our awards this year on the teacher grant program was $64,000. That's a 28% increase over last year. But next year, starting in the 2017-18 school year, I'd really like to step that up and really raise that $60,000 so we can provide $120,000. So programs like yours would be fully funded. And what breaks my heart every year is that we awarded a record number of dollars, and I think it came out to 40 grants, but the applications were over 100. So that means only 40%. And I'd like to award 100% of the grant applications. So our goal, the board's goal, is to continue to raise the money. We love seeing new grants like yours. Many of our programs are re-grants, and that's really good because these are programs that we've worked with for many, many years. But I'm always looking for that new grant. So I was going through, we have a focus on literacy, we have a focus on career and technical education, a focus on STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and then a focus on helping students that are struggling graduate. And that's another big program for us. So and literacy is so important. We all know about that brick wall by grade 3, by the 3rd grade. So as I was looking through the grants with the committee, we came across yours. So this is a new one.
Oh, good.
So thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you so much.
And really appreciate it. The check is in the mail, as they say. We mailed them out last week.
Fantastic.
The check will go to the school district. You can contact your bookkeeper, and we can start spending the money. The only thing we ask is you track everything, okay?
Absolutely.
And we'll have a summary report in the springtime, and then it starts all over again. So thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Much.
And I also want to thank our previous guests, Kate and Paul, for coming in as well. And I just want to wish all of our audience happy holidays. Thank you very much.